Move on. The U.S., of course, Israel's staunchest ally, they are opposed to settlement expansion. There are parts of the Israeli government that are very much in favor of settlement expansion. The U.S. says, Antony Blinken recently said it again, that new settlements are counterproductive to reach enduring peace and weaken Israel's security. What do you say to that?
So let's set the record straight here on a few things. Jewish presence in Judea and Samaria, the place from which Jews come from, Jews come from Judea, it does not go against international law as long as you don't twist the law to fit your political views. Judea and Samaria are rightful parts of, our Jewish homeland, the biblical heartland, and Jewish presence was, evident there for more than 3,000 years. Now, Jews have right to reside there alongside Palestinian Arab communities. There's no question about it. But settlements are not the main impediment to peace. If someone thinks that having Jewish neighbors is the main essence of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, well, they're dead wrong, Nicole, because the real impediment to peace between Israelis and Palestinians, let's put it right here on the table, is the Palestinian refusal to recognize, to acknowledge the very existence of the legitimacy of a Jewish state and Palestinian terrorism. If someone is really interested, in promoting peace and inquiring as to why there's no peace, these are the questions that they should be asking. How come the Palestinians have refused every peace offer since 1937 and up until, recent times? How come they started every conflict, lost it, only to cry victim and perpetuate a conflict? How come terror infrastructure and terror ammunition are found in almost in every Palestinian school, every Palestinian home? That's what our forces are discovering in Gaza. So
all right,
you and I can sit here and talk about settlements, but that's not the essence of the conflict.
Let's look at the war in Gaza, which continues, of course, and it is widely acknowledged by many people that the settlements in the West Bank, among others, do breach international law. But let's look at the conflict that we've been focusing on for the past months, ever since the October 7th terror attacks. Prime Minister Netanyahu called the truce proposal that was presented by President Biden last week partial. So what does Netanyahu's plan for peace look like? What did Biden miss?
To make things clear, we have set 3 war objectives right after the October 7th massacre. We said that we want to dismantle Hamas as a governing body, a political body in the Gaza Strip, and as a military wing, to make sure that they will no longer have the military capabilities, nor the desire to attack us again after this war. The second goal is, of course, to bring all our hostages, the stolen people, back home, and to make sure that Gaza will never, ever pose a terror threat to us again. Now, Israel, like President Biden said, has put on the table very generous proposals that were rejected time and again by Hamas because they're not interested in releasing hostages so far. They haven't been serious about these negotiations in recent weeks, as you know. But the claims that we agreed to a ceasefire proposal that will not meet our conditions, I mean, these are incorrect. These are false claims. We will not agree to any kind of a ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire, I'm talking about, that would leave Hamas in power and some hostages in Gaza.
All right. We have spoken over the past months, ever since October 7th, to countless experts who say that Netanyahu appears to be more interested in staying in power than in actually reaching a lasting peace. Now, would he be willing to risk his government falling apart if it meant an end to the war and a return of the hostages?
Well, I just stated 3 war objectives that the prime minister and honestly every Israeli, almost every Israeli, an overwhelming majority of people in my country are eager to achieve. There will be no compromise on our security. This is not about a political survival, by the way, Nicole. This is about the survival of the nation of Israel, Jews, Christians, Muslims who refuse to simply die in the hands of a terrorist organization. So we will continue to plow on in Gaza and make sure that our goals are reached.
If it would mean that he would have to risk his governing coalition, would he agree to a deal that could lead to that end?
Again, this is not what's on the table right now. We're not dealing with politics. Very few people in my country, in fact, are dealing with politics right now, because what I
But
told
members
you is
of his
that
coalition
the
have said
overall.
that they would not stay in the coalition if the deal that was presented by Joe Biden, for example, were to go through.
Well, but what I am saying is that the deal that was presented is not 100% accurate, because, as the prime minister said in recent days, we will not agree to a ceasefire that will leave some hostages in Gaza and Hamas in power. So we're not talking about a permanent ceasefire.